working with metal, one of the things, the services we offer in the studio is casting, which is melting metal and casting it into a form. That form is carved in wax. That wax is set with other pieces of wax called sprues, gates, runners, and vents. And that wax is put into a container that is filled with a material called investment. Investment is a plaster. It's a specialized plaster. It actually comes from the dental industry. And the investment forms the mold, the hollow, which we pour the liquid metal into. The liquid metal solidifies and becomes the form that we cast in wax. The wax is lost in this process. It's melted out of the mold, out of the investment, out of the flask, and that's why it's called lost wax casting. So the molds we have that I've done, it's taken a lot of time to actually do the wax models and to create the molds. And the molds have been in the burnout oven. That's that big silver oven right there. They've been in for 38 hours or so. There's a carefully programmed series of steps where they're heated up slowly to dry them out, and they're heated up a little more to melt the wax. The wax is caught in metal trays underneath as it's melted out of the mold, and then the wax is pulled and disposed of. Then the mold is brought up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit, 300 degrees to melt the wax out, 600 degrees Fahrenheit starts burning away the residual wax that's in the mold. At 900 burns away more of it. It goes all the way up to 1350 where it sits for 4 hours, and that burns even the ash away. So that all we have left is we have this hollow mold made of the investment, and that's what we're going to pour the molten metal into. The model that I'm doing is a fairly complex one. I've just done one of them. I'm going to do another one here, and one of them is for the one I completed was for a stand for the sheath. This will be the stand for the knife. This will be poured in bronze. I'm pouring bronze, aluminum, and nickel silver right now in the studio, and bronze so far is my favorite. It's easy to see why bronze is so favored by artists, because it just pours wonderfully. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the flask out. The flask is sitting here idling at 900 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the correct temperature for casting bronze. The bronze has been melting in this melting furnace. The melting furnace melts it at 1950 degrees Fahrenheit. Very, very hot. And so it's time to pour. See, this is pretty heavy. This is a stainless flask, and the investment material is in it. In the very center is my pouring gate. Little holes around it, they're vents. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is take a solid graphite rod and stir my bronze. Make sure it's all nice and shiny. Get any dross that's on the top off of it. Very hot. Now it's time to pour. Extremely hot. Pour is done real quick. That's it. What you want to do here is cool this casting until the button isn't glowing red anymore. Now I don't see any, yeah I do, if I look down in there in the vent holes, I do see bronze, molten bronze, red, coming up through the vents, so that means that the liquid metal has gone into the bottom of the model cavity and come up the vents, which is exactly what I want.
Okay.
Hard to tell. Hard to tell if it's glowing sometimes. As it comes off color, it's still just got a hint of glow to it. Probably in a dark room. Oh yeah, come here. Camera close. So it looks like it's just black, right? But watch when I shade it with my hands. See that? Mm-hmm. You see it's still glowing red. So it needs to cool off a few more minutes before I can do this. All right, we've waited for most of the color to come off of the button. So the button is just got a tiny little bit of glow to it. You can see if you get it really dark, or if the room light is out. So we know it's still very, very hot, but we want it still hot so that the shakeout will work. The boiling, the vibration, the shock will loosen up the investment. So now we're going to do the shakeout. Get a grab on this. Pretty heavy. A lot of bronze, a lot of mold, a lot of metal. Okay. The shakeout's in a bucket of cool water, and I'm going to position here so I can lower it in. Move it out. The boiling and the vibration helps break up the investment. You can see the dissolved investment coming out of the end. Whoa! Okay, I don't know what that was. Maybe something broke. Shock might have cracked it. I guess we'll find out. That wasn't good. Okay, feels like it's reached equilibrium. I hope it didn't crack. Oh, if it did, it did. Yeah. Water's just lukewarm for all that. I'm digging some of the investment out of the flask. There's the model, and it looks like it's good. Very good. I don't know what the popping was, unless it was just the investment breaking up. Take a look here. Really, really good. Like this one. Okay, so there's the base. The stand, the knife point will rest right here, and the knife blade will rest right here. This is the model with all of this curlicue. These are the main runners or sprues, and then these are the vents. There's a vent, there's a big vent right there. Oh, that's a runner right there, or sprue. There's a vent, and there's a vent, and it looks like everything worked